Hello everybody, in the last lecture I told you to make a few functions that should count the area of square, rectangle, circle, triangle and trapeze. So here is a solution to this problem and we put it inside a figures.pw file, and this file is called a module. Module is a file with a code. The other way you can think about module, the module means it is something like an element that can be used as a part of another element, or it can be used as a part of something bigger. So it can be used as a part of, for example, library. So one module, or maybe more than one module, is a library. Library because library is a set of tools. Tools like, for example, hammer, right? You can use hammer to stick the nails into the board, right? Here you have got a tools like area of square. You do not need to think about how to count the area of square. You just use this tool, area of square, to count it. Area of rectangle to count the area of rectangle. You do not need to remember how to do it. You just use the name of function. So it is helpful, it's useful. So a module is a part that can become a part of something bigger, right? In our case, it is a part of code that can be connected to other modules, for example. But how to do it? And why do we do it? So far, we've learned that there are two types of modules. One type that we learned about is called the Python standard library. So we have got here modules that we could import, right? We were talking about how to import these modules. And it was pretty straightforward. We could just type the import and then the name of module. And that's all. And we could use them. There is also something what is called external modules that you can find here. We'll talk about it in future. And finally, modules that can be created by us, like that one. And how to use modules that are created by us? Well, let's imagine that we want to create another module. Let's save it as, for example, main program, like that. Please notice that if we want to import from the main program, for example, figures, we should think about putting them in the same folder. And now, in order to use the figures module, we just need to type here import the figures. And that's all. When you run this module, you can already use it here. Like how? We can just type figures dot control plus space, and we have got even hints about each of the functions that we can use. For example, I want to count the area of circle. And I will put here the radius, like for example 4. And now I just need to hit enter, and as you can see, I have a result. Figures, area of rectangle, of square, for example, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. Everything works fine. So we can easily now use any of the function from this module. We imported it into our main program, right? The cool thing is now that many other programmers can use our figure module, right? So we created something what is called a library, right? A small one because it consists only of one module. Libraries most time consist of more than one module, right? Module is like a part, as I said earlier, part of something bigger most time. So we have got here import figures, and we can, for example, make a program that will allow the user to choose which area of the figure he wants to count, right? He wants to measure. So, for example, let's do something like that. Choose input And now we're gonna ask what figure area you want to measure. And now I will show you something very cool. When we do something like that, inside the input function or the print function, we can add enters here without any problems, and they will be interpreted. It's not like we did a comment here, right? Multi-line comment, but it's like a multi-line text inside the function. That's really useful because we do not need to now use the backslash n in order to make the enter, right? We just can put things like that in another lines. So square, rectangle, circle, triangle, and well, now we should check if the thing that he has chosen was equal to, for example, 1, and if yes, then we should count the square area, right? The area of square. So how to do it? The figures, that, Control plus space, square, and we should send there what? Something. So we should ask the user for the side, for the size of side, right? So input, enter the size of square side, like that. And we should definitely change it to, for example, float or integer, and do it like that. And now when we run our module, notice what will happen. When I type 1 and I enter 4, nothing happens. Why? I did it on purpose, because I would like to remind you that when you invoke a function, you jump to the declaration of function, you do everything that is inside the function, like, for example, assign the value to the parameter, which in our case was equal to 4. And 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. We return here and we replace this thing entirely by the thing that was returned. So this 16 is like floating, right? It's not assigned to anything. So we should assign it to something, the result, or we can just print it like that, right? Or we can add a message. That would be even better, right? We can say something like the area of square is equal to. And now when we run the module and we choose 1 and enter the 4, as you can see, we have the area of square is equal to 16. Everything works fine. As you have probably noticed, it's pretty hard and confusing to jump through windows when they look like that. We have now only 2 modules and the shell, and well, I made a mistake even here, as you have probably noticed, because I was not sure where I am. That's why when you have more than 1 module, it's really useful to download something what is called, for example, PyCharm or Visual Studio Code or Atom or Spider. These are very useful IDEs, okay? They are better than the one that comes with Python. And well, we'll use them in future. But right now, I would like to rather focus on learning the syntax because, well, it's more important, right? When you learn the syntax, you can really play with any IDE you want. Okay, so you can download them and try to, play with them on your own. I'm sure that you're gonna be able to do it. Don't worry, it's nothing hard. So I recommend PyCharm. The others are really also very good. And as an exercise to this lecture, I would like you to finish this main program and allow the user to choose rectangle, circle, triangle, trapeze, and show him a nicely looking result. That's all in this lesson. Thank you very much.